Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Gaming Circle podcast, where every week we attempt to take some of these interesting topics of the week and chop it up, discuss it with my man, with my twin brother. Some say we're still not sure about that one.
Evil twin.
The one, the only, Mr. Everborn. How you doing today?
I'm all right, sir. I'm all right. Just trying to had a long night of Resident Evil, dealing with Mistress Dominatrix, and then this morning I was trying to get into Mass Effect Legendary Edition, but I got caught in the cycle of trying to create a character, and then before you know it, I was an hour into it, and I was almost late for the show. So
well, there you go. So you know what? Let's kick it right into it then. That's what we're doing. Like, so that's the first thing. What we have been playing. So please continue. You were Mass Effect. Did you get anywhere, or you just stuck at that?
No. I'm still recreating my character.
You're still creating character.
Because I think it brings in your original character, but. When I played the first Mass Effect, I had this rule of I would only take the default character because that's the way they wanted you to play it. I have since grown older and wiser, and now I customize my characters. So that's where I am. I'll probably be doing that for another 2 days, and then I'll actually get back into the game. But I'm excited. I want to see it in 120 hertz mode. I'm excited for that because I think I'm going to play it that way instead of 4K.
Yeah. And I can report back to you and tell you that I've played a bit of 120 hertz mode, and it is quite great. It is really, really good. Now I'll tell you. So I also had a chance to play this a little bit. I'm playing a little differently. In the first time I actually had a chance to play it, I played it with male Shep. Okay. And this time I wanted to go Fem Shep.
Okay.
Yeah, this time I wanted to go Fem Shep, but I wanted to do the OG Fem Shep, not the new, hey, we've kind of standardized it across the board Fem Shep. But like if you click the character creator, you can actually find the face that originally was the OG one. With the little scar on her face and everything. So I'm like, all right, I'm going OG Fem Shep.
Okay. All right.
So I was playing that. Now, here's the funny thing about all this. I was about to regale you with a light review, with a nice little montage of footage of me, at least going about an hour of footage of me doing it. Yeah, this morning I went to go view that footage, completely black, almost completely black. Thank you so much, Xbox Series X. That's one problem they still have. The capture, it captured the whole thing completely black. I'm watching it on VLC right now.
I wonder about that, right? Like, I think that's sort of something that Sony understands. Like, if you have your sort of photo mode and you're making it easy to share, you can have. People will share it more. Clips of your game become viral. People want to go out and buy it, yes, and it leads to mind share. And Microsoft seems to think that shit doesn't matter, but it does.
Well, it's not that they think it doesn't matter. They think of it as a secondary thing, and that is unfortunate because it leads to lower levels of quality. I mean, I've recently heard.
No, but you get the. No, go ahead,
please. No, I was going to say I've recently heard Jason Ronald say that they know that they still have work to do as far as getting the capture tools working and all of that. So at least they've heard the message. It's just, Sony never missed a beat on that front, and it's unfortunate that in this instance they have missed this beat and they continue to miss it. Because for a while there, folks were like, "Oh, I'm having problems with my capturing," and I'm like, "I don't see a problem. I was capturing stuff left and right." And actually, today I may throw some video captures of some videos I've been playing in the middle of the show, but I haven't had any issues until this capture of this game. And by the way, we're still on what we're playing. Another weird issue. I don't know if you came across this. I could not play like the day it came out. I'm like, all right, I'm going to play it. Midnight, I'm doing it. I could not play the game from midnight. Why? Because I happen to have the Xbox wireless headset on, and there's this weird bug that if you have the Xbox wireless headset on, when you turn the game on, it starts the cool BioWare splash
And
screen.
then it
You're
goes
like,
straight
ooh,
back.
exciting. Boom, goes to dashboard. You do it again, boom,
Okay,
to
it's
dashboard.
not. It's not. It's not. It's not
It's
the
the wireless
headset.
headset.
No, no.
100% it is. Look
I,
online. It's
I can.
everywhere.
I
It's
can tell
online
you.
all over the place. Go
I
ahead,
can tell
please.
you for a fact it's not the wireless headset
Okay.
because
Mm-hmm.
I had the same issue, but I have two
Okay.
Series X's. The
Okay.
one in my living room with nothing connected to it does not
Mm-hmm.
play, right?
Okay.
The one in the bedroom that has the wireless headset, it will play.
Which headset do you have? That's connected
I
to?
have the Xbox headset.
Okay, and it's connected to the wireless headset, and it still plays.
It still plays, yes. And
Wow, then yours is unique.
and
Continue. Yes.
in the living room, I have the Astro A50s, but they
And
weren't
they play.
on. No, that's the one that crashes back to the dashboard. It's the same thing.
See,
It plays the
that's a weird
BioWare thing, and
Uh-huh.
then it goes back. So
That
I
is very strange.
specifically had to go into the bedroom. I don't know if
Okay.
this is a thing where, like, do you have more than one Xbox? Do you have a Series S? Do you have
I have multiple Xboxes, but only one next gen. So I have
okay.
OGs in my rooms.
Do
and
you
whatnot.
have it
But here's
installed
the
on
deal, though.
two machines?
Just one system, only on, and initially when it installed, and it kept doing it to me before I went on Twitter and asked and looked it up. Initially, it was I installed it on my. I have a 14 terabyte external hard drive that I have, and the extension that you plug in the back, as well as obviously the 1 terabyte that it comes with. So initially, it installed by default to the external hard drives, right?
Okay.
But then I saw it had that X and S logo on the side, which would tell you that it has some kind of next gen functionality. So you may want to move it to one of the faster drives. So I did that, and it still kept crashing. I'm telling you, it took me going on Twitter and looking around, and people said there's something wrong with the API. Nobody explained it well. I actually even saw remarks by Colt Eastwood on RDX podcast saying exactly the same thing. You turn it on, make sure the game runs, start a game, and then turn your headset on, and it works. And I tried that once, worked like wonders. Before then, and of course I'm in the insider program, so I sent a bunch of updates to the Xbox. There's a thing where you can do a trace where you can, it can basically have a record function on the console, and it'll record it while it's doing all the faultiness, so you can recreate it. I literally did that and sent it to Xbox. I was convinced there was something weird going on, and now it's all over the internet that hey, it's a known thing. So
now,
if yours still works with the controller with the headset, then yours is a different situation because everybody else seems to think it's this way.
Now here's the thing. Mm-hmm. Another piece of information, right, is that the living room Xbox is on the insider program, but the bedroom Xbox is not. And the living room Xbox is the one that crashes back to the dashboard right after.
That could be another factor in the equation. The one that I'm the only next gen console I'm talking to you about is in the insider program. It's not the latest and greatest, the most cutting edge of firmware. It's actually the one before it. So it's in the alpha program, but not to skip ahead. So
interesting.
So that could be a factor in the equation. I do hear you. Yeah, so, I wanted the latest and greatest, but I wasn't willing to sleep on that bleeding edge. I was like, no.
Well,
I've had it happen to me before.
Yeah, but that's part of the reason I have two of these things, right? Like the bedroom Xbox is the safe Xbox.
Okay.
The living room is where we get wild and crazy.
Actually, I've regulated my 1X as the wild and crazy box because the 1X is now in the bleeding edge firmware. Even though it's a 1X, I can still get to Game Pass because now it has that full browser. So with the browser, I can access like new school games through the OG Xbox. It's kind of interesting, it's kind of fun. So that's what you've been playing. Is that all you've been playing? Like
no. Well, I technically haven't played that yet. All I've played is the design character game.
Please, you were playing Village.
I was playing Resident Evil Village. Now earlier in the week, I don't know. I can tell you the story. I was playing Returnal, and I know that last week I said I was done with the game for a while, but then they put out some bugs, and I said, you know what? I really like the gameplay loop. I'm gonna play it again. Because this is a game that I really want to like. It is my type of game because they're sort of the way they handle the gunplay, the way, I like that they took all these elements from different genres and melded it together into something interesting.
Yeah.
However, there's the whole roguelike, you got to go back to the beginning thing, but the game also has issues, and you can't have issues in that kind of a game. So they said they fixed the bugs. I said, I'm going to give it another shot. This thing's not going to beat me. So I go ahead and I start playing the game, and I'm 2 hours into it. I'm at the boss room, like, where you drop down at the end of biome 1.
Mm.
And then you sort of you drop down. So, but I only have 10% suit integrity. Right. So I said, all right, I'm going to go back and I'm going to go sleep in the ship. Right. Because that's what you do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I get
Isn't
back
that
to
supposed to recover your energy somewhat? If
that's exactly what it does.
Okay. Yeah.
But I get back to the ship, and guess what? The sleep functionality is broken. Doesn't come up. You can enter every button. You press triangle. It's supposed to, when you get in that room and you'll go to sleep, it's broken. It doesn't work. So now I have to go and look for health, but I cleared out most of the rooms.
Okay.
But I have to go back in this other room that I left because it was kind of crazy. And then I go in that room to go and search for health. And but then I die, right? Because I only have I have like no health. Right. So the whole point is that you're supposed to be able to go back. Right. You're supposed to like play smart. You know what I mean? And 2 hours gone. I did everything I needed to do. And the game has issues again. Right. So first it was the door lock issue where I lost a bunch of hours. Now I made it to the boss, forgave them. And then that's another 2 hours wasted. But I didn't even stop there. Then I go back, and then I'm playing again. And then I want to go back to I'm almost at the boss again. And then I say, okay, now I'm going to go back for health because the thing was working again after I died. And then it turns out that when I try to go back, the second room is the one where you have to drop down. And the only way you can get back up is if you have the grappling hook.
It reshuffled it to a room that you can no longer access without the grappling hook.
Exactly. Even though they know I don't have the grappling hook yet.
That's so strange. So this game is still not ready for prime time. There's still some quality assurance that needs to happen there. Because how would they give you a room that the system itself should know that you yourself don't have access to yet? That's
right, to go backwards, which you're supposed to do. Right. Yeah, so it's shit like this that, like, how many hours am I gonna waste?
Yeah.
Because like they don't have their shit together. So for me, I'm done. I don't even want to hear about this game anymore. Right?
Understood.
So
I hear you.
That's kind of where I am.
Yeah.
No, that game.
I don't disagree with you. I've been dabbling with it myself left and right, but by and large, I have not been giving it the attention that I initially started giving it because of all those potential bugs, and it's kind of a crapshoot depending on how you won't know how good or bad it was until you're about 3-4 hours in, and then either you wasted your time or you didn't, and it kind of it dissuades you from wanting to jump in. That's where I am.
Too much of it. It's like a fucking slot machine.
Yeah,
right?
So I'm waiting I'm waiting to hear that news that all those bugs have been worked out, and now that the hardness of the game is just the game, and then I might jump back in.
That's the hardest boss is the bugs, right?
The bugs, yeah.
So,
indeed.
But anyway, so that was Returnal, which I'm completely giving up on. Which it's very sad because I really liked the bones of the game.
Sure.
But right now, fuck that game. Right? Sorry for cursing, but I'm angry. I'm angry. I've wasted too much of my life on it.
I feel you. Yeah.
Now
and $70 some odd on it too.
Yeah, $76.44. Never
there
forget.
You go. That's right.
Okay, so there's that, and then there is Resident Evil Village, which is
I want to hear about Resident Evil Village. Yes, please.
Like that is I absolutely love the game so far. Right now,
Okay,
and I know things are coming, but right now that's the game
that's the
this
game.
year.
Okay, that's cool. All right.
That's the Resident Evil Village is the game of the year so far,
Okay.
right?
Some
But
I've
it's
heard
early.
some reviews. I've heard some reviews say it's not as scary as they expect from Resident Evil. It's more action
Yeah,
heavy than they want it to be, kind of.
they didn't play it with headphones at night by themselves.
Okay.
That's what
Okay.
they didn't do.
Well, okay. I will preface that by saying those are mostly people who are very much into Resident Evil 7, which really took it into that like Texas Chainsaw direction. And
Right.
supposedly this is not that extreme.
I
Like it
didn't
pulls
play
it back a
Resident
bit.
Evil 7, but I
Okay.
will.
Okay.
I'm going
Okay.
to play it after
Yeah,
this.
it's mad Texas Chainsaw, and especially if you play it in VR. Oh boy, you will not sleep for a few days, man. It's crazy.
Oh no. I would be
I
I
played
have it
that game in VR. I was an idiot. It was just crazy. That's why I
no
don't
it
want to play 8 right now.
because like I have it on the Xbox,
Hmm.
right? But I never
Okay.
played it. It's one of those because I was a serial like game buyer and then never play it,
Game collector. That's right.
right?
I'm there too. Sometimes I'm just a game collector. You don't necessarily play it. I'll play it eventually, but I want to own it now. That kind of thing. I
Yeah.
get you. Yeah.
So
Okay.
so
Okay.
but very happy with it. I just beat Lady Domitruce.
Okay, you just beat. Okay, I didn't even know. I wasn't sure. See, so I haven't spent that much time in the ins and outs of the game. I wasn't sure she was like a Mr. Big kind of a character that couldn't be beaten or who you just have to avoid.
She is, but I mean I don't want to give away like spoilers and stuff,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
like
No, no spoilers. Okay.
I was surprised that beating her is not the end of the game.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I do hear there's like the I have not obviously I have not played the game, but from all the stuff I've heard from folks I trust, it seems like the marketing some a little bit misleads the game itself. Supposedly the beginning and the end are what's marketed more, but the middle is where the juice is and it's different from the main game. So
Yeah, I have no
that
idea. Literally,
yeah.
I'm looking for the house with the red chimney right now for
Okay.
whoever's playing it right now. You'll know what that means. I
Okay.
don't know what it means because I haven't found it yet. But I'm outside. I'm back outside of the castle, and I have no idea what to expect next. And I like that, right? I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
It's always good to have. It's good to have like not knowing what's around the corner, rather
'Cause
than have it spelled out for you all day.
no, I really went into it thinking she was
The
the
main,
right,
yeah,
but I guess I'm gonna have to figure
the
out who
marketing.
Mother Miranda is. But I think that's
Yeah,
good misleading marketing,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. So
Not like the Halo Guardians marketing, but
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah. That's a different conversation. Stop
okay.
it.
All right, what's
Yeah.
next? But that's what I'm playing. I
So
really love the
okay,
game. I like it's like I said, so far, like I'm giving it a 9 out of 10
great.
for
Wow.
Village.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
super happy with it.
Okay.
Um I can't say return to form, but return to form
Mm.
for me for Resident Evil.
Okay.
It just
Sure.
it gives me all the feels.
I'm sure while as time goes on, we'll have more thoughts on it because a lot of folks are coming at it from different perspectives. If you've played the last one, this one may seem less than. If you haven't played the last one, then this may be hitting that right spot for you. I've heard a lot of conversation about it, and it's been, by and large it's been positive. So I'm waiting
But
for all of
that
it to die down, and I'll play it quietly in the corner of myself.
that is next on my list though because
Okay.
I'm going to finish it and then I'm going to play 7.
Okay,
I, I,
okay, and see the
and,
comparison there. Okay,
yeah.
cool. Yeah, I would like to hear what your thoughts are after you've played it in that way, because most
How
people
much
experienced it 7 to 8.
how much better are the graphics in 8 than 7?
I mean, the from what we can tell, it's building off of the bones of 7, and they've just like really they've really taken advantage of those next gen textures and whatnot. So I don't think you playing it backwards, you'll notice like too much of a degradation. You'll definitely tell where the upgrades are from 8 to 7, but I don't think it'll be that much of a downgrade like i.e. Mass Effect 1 to 2 or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
no,
it starts at a higher standard, even with 7. It was very good for its time.
because
Like
the
very,
thing
very good graphically.
the thing that because like sometimes I'll look at Village, there's certain room, and I know there's not a lot of physics in the game, right? Like everything is sort of stationary.
It's stagnant. Yeah.
Right. But there's times where you can blink and think this is like real.
Yeah. Oh
right.
yeah.
And that I love that
Photorealistic
about it.
stuff.
Yeah. Like it's
And
crazy.
seven started that stuff. So I
Okay.
mean, like I said, you're obviously and you'll even if when you're playing 7, you're playing it with a next gen system or on a PC that's capable of next gen graphics. So I mean, I would be hard pressed if you can tell like, oh yeah, there's a big upgrade here. You know what I mean? Like you could probably tell if you were playing this on a PS4 or something like that. But if
Right.
you're trying it now, using PS5 or a next gen console,
I could put it on the 3080, but I own it on the
exactly,
Xbox, so that I'm not going to
exactly.
spend more money on it.
Yeah, no, exactly, and you know that Xbox tends to do really good on back compat. So give it a try. I bet you'll be impressed by what you see, even from 7 to 8. I'm pretty sure of that.
Okay.
So okay, so me real quick, as you see a little bit of footage of Sleeping Dogs. I've been messing with that since FPS boost has been a thing in our world. So I've
You've
been
been
enjoying
telling
going
me
back to
about
this
this
game.
game.
This game is like unusually fun. The story and all of that. Obviously, it's an object of its time. You know, clearly it lacks the depth of 2020 games that are open world and this and that. But I'm hoping that these games, because of FPS boost bringing more light to them, Titanfall 2 being another example. Hopefully, these IPs are given another chance and maybe take a 2020 stab at it, 2021 stab at it. Look at it with fresh eyes. Maybe make another installment. This game deserves another installment.
Who makes this?
Oh, something Riot. Oh goodness, it was at the beginning of this thing. Actually, let me start this right from the top.
Was this
it's a Square Enix joint,
okay.
obviously, and the developer will come up right here. United Front. They unfortunately were shuttered right after they finished this and another version of it. They were going to do like a what do you call it, like a DLC for the game, but to my understanding, before that happened, the studio was shuttered. But Square still owns the IP.
Okay.
And this game deserved a lot more credit. I think it's a great game that should get more credit. So I've been playing this. As you can see from my background, I've also been playing a bit of Cyberpunk.
Really?
Why? Yes, because you got the new PC. Cyberpunk has become the crisis of its day. You know what I mean? So you got to test it out, really put it through its paces. I've been stressing it out, seeing how far DLSS needs to go to compensate for 100 frames per second, things like that. But I haven't really gone in. I've just been kind of playing it lightly a little bit, like running through the city, checking out all the cool ray tracing and things like that. So that's what I've been playing. But I'm looking forward to getting back into Mass Effect. I've been on episode 1, episode 1, Mass Effect 1. It is so much better. There's so much more to it, and we'll keep talking about it as you play as well. But the light touches that they've put in is so welcome. Like they have a cool bokeh effect when folks are talking now in the background that really adds to it almost turns it into like a newer role-playing game. Like it gives it a newer shine. Like they've done really interesting.
Did they fix the rover?
I haven't gotten to the Mako yet. I haven't gotten there. I hear that it's still bouncy, but not ridiculously bouncy.
Okay.
So we shall see. I haven't gotten that far yet, but so far everything I've heard of it has been really cool. Hopefully, I get to record good B-roll of it, and we'll show it off next week. But let us move on to, I guess, what we would say this would be the topic of the main topic of this week: the state of next gen consoles. Okay. Now, I wanted to have this conversation with you because next gen has kind of been more a talking point than it has been a real thing in the last 5 months, 4 months. The consoles, it seems like a million years ago, but they've only been out for 6 months now, right? And before then, the conversation around next gen was so hot and heavy, right, that it seemed like there'd be a demarcation line. Oh, well, here we are in the next gen. And here we are now, 6 months in. We've had a taste of some next-gen games, right? A taste of some next-gen experiences. But I'm not exactly sure that we got what we were thinking we would get when we started this quote unquote next gen journey. So for those of us who've been lucky enough to get our hands on these next gen consoles, right? How do you think, and you're one of us who are lucky enough to get your hands on this, how do you think it's faring so far? Are you you personally, we'll start there, are you happy with your purchase?
Let me tell you something. I
Please.
had a base jet engine PS4, not a PS4 Pro,
Woo,
not a slim, and I had a VCR Xbox One. That is what I am upgrading from. So
wow. So you didn't even have a series. You didn't have a 1X.
Never had a 1X.
Interesting. Okay.
I told you, like I took off like 4 or 5 years of gaming.
Yes, you did the right thing. You went back to school and you just stopped focusing. I get you. Yeah.
Right. And so now all of this stuff is new to me, and I'm like a kid in a candy store. This is why I never understand the people. I mean, maybe I would feel different if I was like in the trenches with you guys over the last few years. But like, I'm just looking at all these things and like, how could you really be mad at any of them? Right. I'm looking at all of these things that I get, you know, that I can do on the Series X, and how I'm playing these games that I missed. But not only am I playing them games that I missed, but I'm playing them like by today's standards with FPS boost and HDR stuff, and then, you know, just all the Game Pass stuff, and then you know, Gears and Hive Busters, all that stuff, and then all of the big PlayStation hits. Like, I'm literally playing like Spider-Man for the first time now, right? Like,
you're in a very unique position. Like, if you were a console gamer who has been gaming all this gen on this console, right, with your preferred platform, whether that be one or the other or both, then you might be in a different position right now. But because you took that time off, you're just happy to catch up to get all the goodness on both sides. And don't get what the problem is.
The old games to me mean nothing because exactly. Right? Because you know it's an old game to me, like Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War 2018. Those are old games.
Let me tell you, Horizon Zero Dawn, it may be an old game. I beat it the year it came out, when I kept playing, and I have the trophies for it. I'm playing it now again because the 3080 makes that game look amazing. It's not that old, man. It's still amazing. It really is. So I completely understand where you're coming from.
So and I'm gonna work my way up to Last of Us.
There you go. Okay.
And so, and this is the thing. To me, they're all just games, and it always makes me I don't understand how grown adults get to the point where it's like
the Twitter effect. It's the Twitter effect. You know, you have no accountability. You can be anonymous. You're just an icon on a screen, and you can just troll folks and just, like, you know, enjoy your day. That's what people do. It is what it is. But you know, I like to expend a little bit of brain power in the idea that maybe it's a righteous thought that somebody's having, so then we can, you know, debate it and chop it up a little bit to see if there's actually any merit to it. But come on, we all know this is just Twitter warfare that folks are trying to have with this stuff. You know, it's not a really big deal that we should be taken seriously, I don't think.
Okay, so now tell me, how are you, who's been in the thick of it? How do you feel like the next gen's carrying out so far? Who's winning?
Exactly. That's a good, interesting situation. So it's actually a good transition, a subtopic, if you will. For me, a guy who's been you know, using them for a while. I've had all consoles. I've had I've even had the mid-gen refreshes. I'm that moron. I've had the OG VCR Xbox and the big old triple decker, the double decker, I should say, double decker PS4, and then the triple decker PS4 Pro and the 1X. So I've seen the transition all the way from the last all the way till now. I would say I think the next gen currently is going as best as it can go. By old metrics, it's not going so well. You know what I mean? Like, we lived in a world where it was, you know, Genesis versus Nintendo. You know, this console does this console does that. Which one's doing better?
That's the only console war I want to fight.
That's right. You know, and in that
Sega
world,
does what Nintendo don't.
That's right. In that world, it's a bad battle right now, right? No one's winning, no one's succeeding, no one's getting anywhere, right? But that's not the world we live in. And I think a lot of folks are still stuck in that world, right? In the world we live in now, it's like buying a C10 on your existing system, right? You're still going to watch The Matrix, but now it's going to look freaking amazing. Same movie, 10 times better quality because of the medium that you happen to be using to watch it. That's the consoles these days. It's not like it used to be where, it lives and dies on what is available today.
But let me ask you a question now, right? Like, because to me, at least what it seems like Xbox is doing is making the Series X the equivalent of getting a new video card.
Yeah.
Right. That's really what they want.
They want
to turn the console market basically into the PC market.
The consoles have always been PCs. Only they use marketing to obscure that. Now they're saying screw that. Let's just show them that they are actually PCs. Hence FPS boost and all of that. Yeah.
And to me, if we can change the conversation around, and like a lot of people will make fun of it, but if we can change the conversation around just saying it doesn't matter when a game comes out because it's art and you consider it. Nobody says Scarface is an old movie, I don't want to watch it, right? You don't say that about Lord of the Rings or Goodfellas or whatever, right? So if we can bring that to the conversation of gaming, I think that is that's a net positive. And I think Microsoft is doing that work.
Who talks about an old book and says it's an old book? Like, the best books are the ones that are from a time where you were not. So it can enlighten you.
Also, part of it, I think, though, is because 2D games are just timeless for whatever reason. You can pick them up at any time.
Pixel technology just lends so well to any screen, even the screens of today. Yeah.
Right. And but these 3D games, because and it again, it depends on the art style, but when you're going for photorealism, that can get dated really quick. When you see high special effects movies, and you can tell, in the day they look good, but when you look at them by today's standards and you put them up against some of the bigger special effects budget movies, you can see the seams really quickly, and then they feel old. And so
you're absolutely right with that. But as you can see, Microsoft is doing their best to change that narrative. I mean, look at the game that's being played on this screen right now. I forget the year this came out, but it's an old ass game, man. This is an old game. But based on, they have auto HDR going. I know that even before they added FPS boost to what they did now, there's a definitive edition that's on there right now, which means they've increased the resolution. So, I bet this game was early aughts. It still looks damn good right now. So, with the new tech, as FPS boost and all these other things are coming out, the idea is to try and keep those 3D games looking as good as you remember them. I mean, in many respects, we've had games that you remember them looking pretty good, but now they look freaking amazing, and no code has been touched. We're getting there.
Speaking of that, I wonder if this Fidelity FX tech or DirectML or DLSS.
Yeah.
I wonder. Now, as I understand it, this is not possible. So this is not me saying that. But I wonder if the wizards at Microsoft will ever find a way to use DirectML or Fidelity FX to repackage, not repackage, but use that AI to update new textures, right? Use the machine learning to up-res the textures to make them appear as 4K textures, so that you play an old game with 4K textures and FPS boost and the auto HDR and maybe Dolby Vision, and those old games will sort of look new.
To my understanding, that tech is possible. It's just not possible without touching code. That's why you'll probably not see that in the old games, right? Most
Right.
of the tech that they're employing are doing so without having to necessarily like touch the code. The tech you're describing is possible. Like there's been conversations already like been had about using AI to up-res like 480p texture to a 1080 and beyond, and being successful at it. It just requires design decisions to be made at the beginning of the game's creation. So because of that, like afterwards, it makes it difficult to add it in post game created. But we shall see. I mean,
But that's the tech
mhm.
today. I'm just wondering,
Exactly.
who
I was
would
just
have
about to say
thought
that we
auto
shall see.
HDR and FPS boost was
Was
possible,
even going to
right?
be a thing. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So okay, moving along on the same train of the next gen conversation, right? We've played both PlayStation and Xbox exclusives at this point, right? They've been few and far between, but we've played.
Have we played Xbox exclusives?
Yes, we have. We've played Xbox exclusive. We have. Have you not? Did you not play the medium? That was an Xbox
I
exclusive,
played
even
the
if it was
medium,
timed.
and
It
I
was.
played Hive Busters, and I
Hmm.
played Gears Tactics, which is
Exactly. There you go.
criminally underrated.
I loved Tactics. The graphics, the gameplay, I loved Tactics. But okay, beyond that though, right? Then you have PlayStation who has their exclusives, right? We've played a couple of those. We've discussed Returnal on this episode already, right?
F that
We have,
game.
but beyond the potential shortfalls, by and large, how has the exclusive front gone? Xbox versus PS5. What do you think?
Look, I wasn't a fan of Godfall, but it was
Okay.
there, right?
Okay.
But you had Miles Morales, right? Not
Mhm.
next gen exclusive, but
And
still,
I think Godfall's no longer an exclusive. I think it's on Xbox now. It was a title
it's not
exclusive.
on Xbox, not yet.
It's not.
No,
Oh, okay. It's coming,
yeah.
or I think it lost its exclusivity recently.
I don't think anybody wants it.
Yeah, no, nobody probably
I
wants
don't
it,
think
but
Xbox wants.
I thought it lost its exclusivity anyway. But yes, continue, please.
Yeah. So, yeah, but then you had Demon Souls, which was kind of like it's I just think Sony has been really smart
Mm-hmm.
about the way they're presenting things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And a lot of people give them shit about their silence, but I think it's been sort of working for them, right? Like
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, 100% it's been working for them.
they'll let
Yep.
their sort of fan base kind of create these narratives, and then they will either say something to nudge it on or not say anything to let it go on as long as they can, and it works out for them. So like I think that what they did with Demon Souls, like they basically took the old game and kind of all the mechanics work the same, but they were able to take advantage of the new hardware to give you those visuals on a game from the PS3 era, right? And then they were, and I think we're gonna see this more. Like Miles Morales was amazing, right? It's really the best,
Yeah.
the best thing that we've seen. I mean, maybe put it up against Hive Busters, right? But like, it's the best thing we've seen that has been released since
the best representation of next gen. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That.
And the thing is, they were able to do that by utilizing what was already there in Spider-Man, the 2018 game.
All they did was add on top of it. Yes,
right.
Which is a smart move.
Which is
very
not
smart.
It's not a full production budget, but it allows you to build on what you had, take advantage of the new tech, and still be a technical showcase. Without really breaking the bank, right?
Yeah. And it was a very smart move. I agree.
And I think that's what they're going to do with Horizon and God of War.
Right? I agree with that. Yes. Both of them are geared to do the same. Yep, 100%.
So they didn't recreate all of their assets, right? Like they you know what I mean? All the character models and all those things. A lot of those things are still there.
That's the magic of Insomniac, though. They are known for their wizardry when it comes to this stuff. Even like Spider-Man, OG Spider-Man, you feel the bones of the original the Xbox game that it came from. what's its name? Come on, give me its name here. I won't forget.
What are you talking about? Shut up.
Sunset Overdrive.
Yes. God damn it.
You
I was trying to get it.
you feel the technology from that there, right? They always double and they
build
Mhm.
they're building from that over
That's
to
right.
what do you
That's
call
right.
it? Listen, Insomniac is the best studio right now.
It's
Like
the best studio, bar none. Like
like the
I say, and to those who always pit PlayStation versus Xbox, I would say even though we're still waiting for the potential to be reached on this Bethesda purchase and all of its ramifications, I would say that the Insomniac's purchase by Sony is right on that same level because their
smartest
impact.
move they
Yeah,
ever made.
their impact to Sony is at that momentous level. Like you can see,
Well,
they saved the next gen for Sony.
I hear you, but I don't know about that.
Well, look where we are right now, right? Without that purchase, Sony would have been in a much more precarious situation, much more. Because if you look at it, like Insomniac has produced and is continuing to produce for them
and they
this
got
next gen
solely. And they got them for cheap, but
they got them for cheap, exactly.
But I don't think we can understate what the Bethesda purchase means for Microsoft.
It's all lip service until we see it in action, but it's going to be monumental. I'm sure of that. Yeah,
like that in itself has cemented the Xbox as the go-to platform for Western RPGs and shooters. It was already the shooter box, but now like
it really is the shooter box.
What we're gonna see is genre-defining shit in the same way that Nintendo is genre-defining when it comes to platformers and what they do, and Sony is genre defining in their story driven games. Like like and that's
on both of them. Yeah.
That is what's great to me about all of this, right? It's not this zero-sum game, and I really don't understand why people keep looking at it that way. Like you don't want for one to succeed, the other doesn't have to fail.
Exactly.
Like, that's the only
I hear you, but I will caveat that by saying that we are in a lucky position that either which one wins, we win because we have the ability to partake, right? If you're not in that camp, right, or you don't want to be in that camp for whatever childish reason you have, sometimes it's a valid reason monetarily, right? Other times it's a childish reason, my I bleed blue or whatever, right? If that's the case, then it is in your best interest to, cap for the other side, as they say, right? But that's the reason why we can be like, why are you being so childish about all this, right? I do understand those who have only one ability to be on one side of the fence, so it kind of is disappointing that their preferred platform may not be the chosen one, if you will,
But now let me ask you a question, right? I do want to continue down the point I was making, but I just because I don't want to forget this question.
Please.
Let's say you are in that kind of financial position, or you just or the pre-order gods just weren't in your favor.
Just weren't there for you.
You haven't been able to locate one of them yet. Like, if you could only choose one today, which one do you go with?
See, that's the thing, though. That is honestly the thing. You don't have to choose one today.
No. But your answer is
because
none.
Even today. Well, okay. If I had a choice between one of the two, right? You
can only afford one
situation. Not even afford one, but the capability of getting one. I would get a PS5. Why? Okay. Because if you're a PS5 person or a Sony fan, that is the only way you will most likely be able to get your hands on any of those games that you want to play in the next 6 to a year, right? Whereas if you're an Xbox fan or you want to play Xbox games, they're on a different narrative. They don't care where you play it. They just want you to be able to get to it. So maybe you have a PC that you can play it on. Heck, maybe you have a tablet that you can use to get the Game Pass. Those are options that are available, right? If you don't have like any of those funds to be able to get both, you can still play both sides in the world we live in today. So that's why, gun to your head, if you had no choice but to pick a console, I would pick the PS5 because that old narrative still works, right?
Yeah,
But if you want the best of the best, I would pick an Xbox because even though that old narrative works, when you pit them side by side, the Xbox tends to be more powerful, tends to be more like the infrastructure is there. The stuff that you don't have to worry about, you just don't have to worry about.
like your
Versus, but
cloud saves or returning games.
exactly. The games that I've been playing for years just continue to work. All those things are why I tend to play on Xbox. But I do get why people are like in that old big fish, old small pond game where they were playing. In that game of your exclusives speak to who wins. PlayStation still wins that game. There is no doubt about that.
But
Even today,
and
they
I
still
think
win that game.
I think the other point though is
Mm.
if you could only get one and you went with PlayStation, you're going to be able to play 90% of the games right now.
Exactly. Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And that equation changes once they start to deliver, but when is that going to be?
When's that going to be? That's right. Yeah. When's that going to be?
Now,
Indeed.
but it's still not as simple as that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing is, like, there's Ratchet. I think Ratchet is undeniable.
Oh
right?
yeah. It's going to be a banger. It's gonna do what it needs to do. 100%. I'm
Now,
right there
but
with you.
my argument is if this is again, if it's like a financial decision, if you can only afford one, I would say go with the Xbox. And I'll tell you why.
You say that? Yeah.
Because if you don't have the funds to buy 2 consoles or whatever, I'm going to argue that maybe you don't have the funds to go and buy $70 games every week when they come out.
So you know what? I hear what you're saying, and I won't reverse my statement, but I will amend my statement by saying this is from a hardcore gamer's perspective, right? We're talking about someone that wants to play all the hottest new PlayStation because you are in the know, right? If you're not in the know and you're just a person that likes games, period, right? You've wanted to get into it, you haven't gotten into it. Now is your chance to get in. I say take a Series S, take a Game Pass subscription, be on your way. 100%. I'm in no way, shape, or form saying that that is the combination, 100%. But if you happen to be one of those, hey, I'm in the zeitgeist, I'm in the know, I watch the shows, I enjoy the back and forth.
I would argue that person is going to get both.
Well, but that person may not be able to get both because we've discussed, right? There may be a monetary setback there. There may be something difficult there that is not just childish stupidity. That, of course, is also there. We know that as well, right? But if you're a common man, like the common average Joe, there's no question. I don't even think a Switch is the solution anymore. It is a Series S and a Game Pass subscription. That's what it is today.
But again, the problem now comes to I literally don't recommend Returnal to anyone, but I would recommend and I wouldn't recommend Demon Souls to everyone, but I would recommend Miles Morales and Ratchet coming up. Right.
And
so
also,
I would say,
and also Sackboy's Big Adventure. That game gets slept on. It is an unusually good platformer that PlayStation released. Also,
Astrobot.
Astrobot is, you know what I'm saying? Like there are from their perspective, from that a big fish, small pond perspective, they're still playing that position quite well, right? PlayStation is still playing that position quite well, and they're going to do so, as you've heard with what is it? Let me transition to a few more stories we have here. With Sony planning to release 25 new games, almost half of that being new IPs, they're still playing that position, right?
Yeah, and the other thing is, like, I think that, like, until holiday season, because that's like it seems like that's what Xbox is going for, to when they start, when they start really pushing back.
Yeah.
I think right now, year one, I might have to agree with you, right? Because if you you will get. I don't think God of War is coming, but it could because of what we talked about before. It's just going to be, we're going to utilize the same assets from God of War 2018, add this new story element, and update the things to take advantage of the hardware. And the game already looked great, so it'll cross-platform and it'll come out this year. So that's very possible. Ragnarok could come out this year.
Yep.
But we know Horizon's coming out this year, right? And they're going to put that or God of War up against Halo Infinite.
Yes,
right?
They are. Oh yeah.
And that is where things get interesting, right? So I have said this many times. I am not going to make any proclamations about Starfield. People assume that it is going to be an epoch, defining, making RPG of what
all they have is a name and a logo. That's all people have. A name
nothing
and a logo.
To go on. It doesn't matter if it comes out this year or next year until we know what it is. And I always caution people to use Starfield as any kind of indicator of whatever. To me, what I'm going by is I'm going by Halo, and if they get Forza out this year, that's what they're going to compete with.
And it's good that you speak to Halo, because remember, you and I have this conversation quite often about we not wanting to put too much on Halo's shoulders. But I always am of the school of thought that the reason why so much is put on Halo's shoulders is because the company themselves lets that narrative sit. Same things happen with Starfield right now. All we have is a name and a logo, but the company, keeps pimping that name as much as possible. So they're pushing that narrative. If it comes out and it's not what everyone thought it was, then it'll be more egg on their face, even though they themselves kept pushing that narrative. I just hope it's good.
I feel like we run the risk of, because the way people talk about it, they talk about it like they talked about Cyberpunk.
Yeah, it's getting there.
It could very well be one of those things but I hope Bethesda's ironing out all those bugs. If it comes out,
it better
and it's
be
another
solid,
Cyberpunk,
boy. Ooh, yeah.
That's going to be. So, but anyway, I say that to say the competition really happens, right? Really happens this holiday, right? I don't think it's only I don't think they're only going to have Halo, but I do think that we're going to see several games on the Xbox side, and that's when these things are going to really start. And you're going to see that. And again, competition wise, this year it is going to heat up, right? I think the first 6 months it goes to Sony, right? Like that's it, right?
But you think this first 6 months goes to Sony? The first 6 months of from the beginning of November to now is a Sony game. It's all Sony. You think?
I think that Xbox has been making up a lot of ground, but I'm just talking about in terms of exclusives released, right? Because that's what we're talking about.
Okay, yeah. Okay, 100%.
Now
I'll give you that.
Now, here's the thing. If Xbox is making up ground, they're taking it from Sony. So it's not fully a Sony game, right?
Yeah.
A Sony world, right? But we all say Halo, right? But I want you to think about, what do you think the Ascent is going to do? And the gunk.
Dude, you have no idea. I've stopped talking about the Ascent and gunk, because I want those to come out so bad.
But those are coming this year. So on the Xbox side, you're going to have the Ascent, the Gunk, and you're going to have Tunic and Scorn. Is Scorn still this year?
Tunic, Scorn should still be this year. They have not updated.
Scorn, Tunic, Crossfire X.
Yep.
Right? Yep. All those things are going to be exclusives coming out in the second half of the year. And I think that... and then is what do you call it still coming? Exomecha? Or did they move that to 2022?
Exomecha is still coming. It is only timed though. Eventually, it's open. Doesn't matter. It's free to play, so eventually it will come to all.
Doesn't matter.
All platforms.
Does not matter.
True.
Yes, so exclusives this year. I'm not talking about any made up list of future. I'm talking about 2021 games that we have seen play in action, confirmed for this year.
Yeah. I think there's actually more Xbox.
Right, and again, the front of the year, the year is not front loaded; it's like back loaded. So I think things are going to start to get interesting after E3. I'm not saying wait till E3, but I'm saying
E3 is when it's going to start getting really kicking into high gear as far as
if
announcements and whatnot.
If you look at that list of things, which it really feels like they're kind of saving them and for the holiday season, because I mean, there's not going to be systems
they're hoping
around.
there's going to be more systems available at that time versus now. So that's when they should really be pushing. I get you.
If no one can get a PS5,
yeah,
and then you got the Xbox out there, and then you got these games, and those things being in Game Pass, it's like
it's a no-brainer. Yeah.
Forget about no-brainer. I'm just saying that like gloves off, bare knuckle boxing fight, like that. That's where we're coming to. So again, Sony. I feel like
well, but don't underestimate Sony. They see the competitor coming, right? And that's the reason why they have quietly been also building their arsenal. They may come at it from their own same old approach, right? But they're at least seeing what's happening.
I don't think Ratchet is samey.
Oh no. But when I say samey, I mean what they do best, which is make quality, next level looking games. Right? They did the same last gen with horrible processors and whatnot. So to them, that's samey. Make top level, can't be competed with quality games. That is samey for Sony. That's what they are known for at this point. You know what I'm saying? And they are banking on the fact that will win. And by and large, unless Microsoft diversifies and adds a little bit of quality to their portfolio, Sony's still a contender right there with that same model.
I wonder if I think Crossfire is going to be a high profile game. I don't know if Exomecha is going to be a high profile game.
I think Exomecha is going to be a flash in the pan. I suspect, just like Bright Memory.
Right. I think the Gunk could be a high profile game.
Yep. I think the Ascent could be surprising to a lot of people. That game looks like so well detailed. They've spent so much time on that game.
It's so
I'm
weird.
looking forward to seeing.
Why don't they just pull the camera right behind the players, and then that's
because if you see some of the level of detail they've put in there. Oh man, like it is so detailed. You can tell that some people have spent so many years of their lives just making that background look as detailed as it is. It's amazing what they've done with that. But you know what? We're close towards the end of our session.
I can go a little longer if you want, because I know.
We will. Obviously, we will. But I wanted to transition a little bit into, since we're talking about the games that are coming, we should transition a little bit into the games that we're excited for. Games that we know are coming, and usually we like to keep it to games that we know are coming between now and the next time we meet. But E3 is close. If you want to have a conversation, we can also talk about the potentials of games we're going to see being announced. So let me quickly start with a few shout outs I wanted to give to a couple games I saw were coming this week that I actually really am excited to try out. Ariel Knights Never Yield. Have you heard of it? I'm sure you have.
Of course I've heard of it, and
of course you have, because we've seen the dev. He's very prolific on Twitter. He was on the Iron Lords podcast not too long ago. The man does good work. Black dev counteracting the narratives out there. So I really wanted to make sure that this game gets a little shine out there.
Yes, sir. He is further down the path that I'm trying to travel with the Everborn game.
There you go. Yes. I've spoken to him on Twitter a few times. Very prolific guy, very approachable dude, and his game looks fun. He's on point. That's looking to come out on May 19th. I think it's in Game Pass. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's in Game Pass. Obviously, it's going to be on Switch as well. I think it's going to come on PS5 as well. But I think when it comes out, it'll be in Game Pass. I'm not sure.
Everybody listening to this, all two of you, and whoever listens to it later on, please show that game some love. It's a indie dev. He's from the community. When it comes out, try it, share it so everybody can see. You know what I mean? Just spread the love there. I'll be doing it.
Mhm.
I recommend everybody do the same.
Yeah, and it just snuck up out of nowhere. I was looking at potential new games to try out before the next show, and that popped out. I was like, wow, that's amazing. So hopefully, it's coming out at a time where there's not too much in between there right at that moment. So hopefully his game gets the shine it deserves because it looks really fun. It looks like it has that fabulous black swagger that we appreciate. So I'm hoping that it really gets the shine that it deserves. So there's that. And then there's Knockout City. Have you heard of it?
I did hear that. Sony showed it off at one of their state of plays, right?
Yeah, so did
But it's
Microsoft, and so did
cross-plat, right?
yeah, it's cross-plat, and so did Switch. It's going to be also on Switch. It's basically like it seemed like an open world kind of dodgeball game, kind of.
Yes, I mean, not.
It looks kind
of
fun.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of what's that paint game on the Switch? With the
yes, with the squids.
Yeah. I can't remember the name.
Yes, but I know what you're talking about.
I own that game and I don't remember the name of it, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
It looks interesting. I would never play it, but
I would never play it.
I respect
but it looks like it's interesting. Yes, that's why I put it on this list. I was like, this is something that may do something. This is their version of that Nintendo game that neither of us can pronounce, whose name we both can't remember. But it looked like, they're trying to do that open, the multi-platform, that kind of a game, which I hope it does well. It looks fun. I am one that is at that place. I enjoy my first-person shooters. I enjoy my games. I always will. But anytime I see an opportunity for a game dev to come up with an idea that doesn't require shooting people in the face and they make it successful and fun, I respect that. It always tends to be shooting people in the face. Let's try and change the mechanics up a little bit. So anytime anything new pops up that's not directly going back to let's shoot people in the face, I'm kind of like, hey, this is good. So yes, Knockout City, and then finally Subnautica, Below Zero. Have you heard of Subnautica?
Absolutely not. Never heard of it.
Okay, this will transition us into a conversation that you and I still need to have at some point, but we'll tap on it right now. Subnautica is a very interesting game. Think of good graphics, decent graphics, Minecraft, right? So it's decent graphics, not your Minecraft, but decent graphics, but a Minecraft building system underwater. You're on you land on a deserted planet, and the planet is all water, and you have to use those resources to build. But do you care if it's in VR?
I might care if it's in VR.
Yes, because
it's on the
VR.
Quest. Is it?
It's also on the PlayStation.
Okay, but
yes, and that game, they built the game originally as a normal game, but then they discovered after the fact that, hey, this game lends itself unusually well to VR. The whole game is spent in visors like this. You see it on your screen, right? So when you are in VR, and obviously you're underwater, so it's floaty, it's light, things like that. All things that lend really well to VR. That game without VR to me was okay. In VR, it is amazing. It really is. And I'm trying to get you to use your Quest headset. This is one of those games you should try.
After we talked the last time, I used the Quest. I updated it. I cannot use the AirLink. It doesn't work. It's working in the app, but it doesn't come up in the headset itself.
In the headset, yes. I was going to tell you, that thing, it's the craziest thing. Like there's a weird way that Facebook likes to update their stuff. First off, you do not pull your own trigger with your update when you want to. It has to be online, and it just joins a queue and updates during a certain time. Secondly, you can do it manually, but it requires some manual intervention. I can help you update that, and we'll revisit the conversation when you can AirLink and connect to a PC.
Okay.
But I would say you should try it. The game is relatively cheap on Steam. This Below Zero is an update to that. It's a DLC to that, and supposedly it cleans a bunch of things up. And if you don't want to play it on PC, PSVR, which I'm sorry, I'm here to say PSVR is actually kind of terrible. Let that not be your VR experience.
No, absolutely.
I have one, and it collects dust in my house. It's terrible.
Absolutely not. Quest 2.
At least let Quest be your minimum.
With the link to the 3080, and we'll play some real VR.
There you go. Yeah,
and even the Quest by itself. The Quest
by itself is pretty decent in VR. That is by itself.
that is why I got a gaming PC. It was for VR. It wasn't for these games. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, I'll play it on PC. I don't want to play it on PC.
Yeah, I got it so that I can play. Have you? Now we're going to go off on a quick VR tangent. Have you heard of an app called Vorpx?
No.
Another thing to be having conversation.
Listen, I told you, man, my Quest has been collecting dust for 6 months, but I want to pick it back up. But no, we'll go on a tangent.
We'll really get into VR soon. Vorpx is basically an app that a tool that can turn your regular PC games into VR games. Obviously, some games work better than others. Some games are geared towards VR more than others, right? In a geometry kind of sense, right? But Vorpx basically makes your headset think it's playing a VR game. If you check YouTube right now, you'll see a bunch of folks playing Grand Theft Auto 5 in VR. That's how they do it. They use Vorpx.
Okay.
And
so is it like
tweak it a little bit, but
it basically switches the accelerometers to believe that it's like the
right.
The
and
mouse.
There's a lot of the tool has an algorithm that helps you with the mouse and all that. Because if you don't do it right, it's Six City, right? But if you tweak it correctly, there's a bunch of games you can play. People have been playing Halo in VR, like some really interesting stuff. We can get crazy with it. We'll do that another time. But yes, so we had a lot of topics to discuss. We're running a little bit late. I think in future episodes. The next episode we'll have more of a E3 conversation because that's coming up very soon. How it will look like, the potential of what will be seen and shown there. I'm excited that every one of the big publishers will be there except Sony, which is unfortunate. I really wish they.
I think that they're gonna do their own side thing.
I hope they do it at the same time as the rest of folks. I don't care if they call it E3 or not, but make it at the same time. Don't be taking your ball and going home all the time. Like, join in a little bit. Like, I'm hoping that's what happens. So the next episode I think we'll probably have a more deeper discussion about E3 because I'm super excited for all the potential knowns and unknowns there, right? But before that time, I guess we're gonna be wrapping it up. I really appreciate you joining me on this episode. We've really had a really fun time having this conversation.
I still want to talk Halo, but maybe we'll do that next week.
Yes, we still need to talk Halo. We need to talk Halo. Is it as valid as everybody thinks it is? Should it be the best, or if it's not the best, does that mean the console Xbox is over? Like, all these conversations still need to be had. But that's a topic of another time, I suspect. But
I want to have it next week, but.
Okay, we can have that conversation next week, 100%. We'll definitely have it next week. But until next week, where can the fine people find you, Mr. Everborn?
All right, well, you can find me everywhere at Everborn Saga. So that's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, every place. But more importantly, check out everbornsaga.com, where you can get into the series that we're putting together. We've got Prince of Arcadia there now, chapters 1 through 3. Ariel's Adventures coming soon as well, as soon as we get it out to the Kickstarter backers. And then we have Prince of Arcadia chapter 4 coming. So lots of things on the horizon. We just got the cover art, which I'll share with you in a little bit, for the Prince of Arcadia Ultimate Edition Volume 2. So tons of things happening. Check out everbornsaga.com, get into the series, pick up a book or two, and we'll take it from there.
All right. And as for me, you can find me K_Asante on Twitter, or the Angry Old Gamer everywhere else. That'd be PlayStation or Xbox. It's been real fun chopping it up with you as usual, Mr. Everborn. We'll see you guys next week. And until then, be good humans, man.